So Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev was announced as the headliner of UFC 313 in March. Which venue is it in? I forgot it. No, go away. It is in Las Vegas. So we're gonna look at that. We're gonna look at the other fights on the card. Gotta be honest, apart from the co-main event, not really much on this in terms of star power, but that's probably because they are paying Alex Pereira and probably Magomed Live and Gaethje and Orker a lot of money. So, without further ado, let's get into this. So, I'm not gonna talk about the whole card. We're just gonna talk about this fight. I will make my predictions closer to when this fight happens. I still haven't even made my predictions for UFC 312. That's because that card isn't for a while. So, now, I'm going to move up there. Yeah. Alright. So, walk. So, you look at this fight. Pereira, Ankalaev. I'm going to go through Ankalaev first. His last win was against Alexander Rakic. He did look really good in this fight. However, I feel like Rakic's corner kind of sabotaged him because it was like his game plan at the start of the the fight and in the first round was working really good, and then I forgot what the corner said, but after that first, it was like he threw away everything that was working for him. But hey, he did win unanimous decision. Really good win over a top contender. Then you have the Johnny Walker win that was over a year ago. You had the flying knee, accidental illegal knee, sorry, against Johnny Walker. Then you had the draw with Jan Blachowicz. And with Jan Blachowicz even said that Magomed Ankalaev won this fight, and then before that, you have an Anthony Smith KO. I like Anthony Smith as a person, but again, it's a good win on paper, but uh, he made it to that Jones fight. He did look good, and then I think after that, I think it all fell apart for him, which is kind of weird to me that like you look at this is a side tangent. Like the last three people Jones fought at light heavyweight and where they ended up, it's it's kind of crazy. And you know, you can make what you want of it. But again, we're not talking about John Jones, we're talking about Pereira and Ankalaev. So you look at Pereira's last two fights, he came back against Khalil Roundtree, used the body shots, got the TKO in the fourth round. Then you had the second Yuri Prohaska fight where he nearly knocked him out in the first round. Worked much better in the first round than he did in the first fight with Yuri. And then at the start of the second round, he knocked Yuri out with one head kick, out cold, really good win. Then you had him TKOing Jamal Hill after that weird stop, which didn't stop the fight because Pereira pushed from Dana away. And then you had him winning the belt against Yuri. Really good performance. And then the split decision, once many people thought that Jan Blachowicz, hardly enough, did the common opponent here in Jan Blachowicz. Many people thought that Jan won this fight. It was a fairly close fight, but yeah. Now there's a couple of things I want to say when it comes to this fight. Obviously, we're gonna talk about the the legacy that Pereira will leave behind, the legacy that Magomed Ankalaev could leave behind, and the timing of this fight. So, when you look at Pereira, right, he came in 3 to 4 years ago, has been a total monster in the UFC, made it to the middleweight title, came back against Izzy, got the TKO, lost to Izzy, moved up to light heavyweight, beat Blachowicz, and then won the vacant title from Yuri and defended the title the 3 times in least amount of time. This guy is speed running a Hall of Fame career. Like, there are not many fighters in UFC history or, any kind of combat sport that you can say had a Hall of Fame career in the matter of 3 to 4 years. Technically 2 to 3, right? I'm not saying it's never happened, but we have never seen the level of dominance we have seen with Pereira. And Magomed Ankalaev is that last test for Pereira. He he can strike, he can grapple. Not as good as people think, but he can grapple. It's just a matter of whether he uses it or not. Jimmy Prohaska is a really good grappler. He didn't use his grappling. And Uncle Ive said that he, on X, he said he'll stand up with Pereira. And if he does that, I agree with Bisbee. I think he will get knocked out. Because, again, the power, the technique, we've never seen before. Uh, eh, with these Dagestani fighters, too, in the event that Uncle Ev wins, because he does have a chance, as not as much as I'm knocking him. You know, that would just add on to the legacy that these Dagestani fighters have. If you can beat Pereira, I'd assume Pereira would get an immediate rematch. Beats him twice. That would put him up there in the pound for pound rankings. That would be a really good start to a championship reign. Like, the only comparable that comes to my mind at least would be Ilya Topuria beating Volkanovski in the hallway back to back, right? Granted, beating the same guy twice is different, but like for Uncle Ive, he's 32. He could have a long run. It all depends on how active he is. You know, his last fight, his last 5 fights start at 2.5 years ago. Pereira's fifth last fight was a year and 5 months ago. Like, that's insane. You know, I remember watching the episode where Joe Rogan talked about Pereira before he even came into the UFC. He talked about the 2 places with his Adesanya. He talked about his performances against other elite level kickboxers. We have never seen somebody in combat sports like Pereira. Like, the gifted power, the technique, the ability to become a fan favorite without knowing English properly. And I have to give it to him. He is learning English really well. Like, Silva comes to mind. He always spoke in Brazilian. Then later on in his career, he had really good English. But the other thing too is what I think that helped Pereira tremendously was going to Glover Teixeira's camp, was adding Glover Teixeira as a coach. Glover Teixeira, like I will pull up his record, is one of the most accomplished grapplers in my heavyweight history. Glover Teixeira, damn it, was right there. Now Glover Teixeira obviously went on his title run late in his career. But like when you look at this man, um, he beat Anthony Smith in a grappling match. Got dominated by Jamal Hill. Lost in the last 30 seconds in a fight that he was winning to a rear naked choke against Yuri Prohaska. He won against Jan Blachowicz in the second round with a rear naked choke when Jan Blachowicz was on one of the best runs we've ever seen. He beat Adesanya. He, um, it was looking really good. I forgot the people I hit beat on that streak. I think Dominic Reyes was one of them. Wasn't Luke Rockhold one of them? I can't remember. But then submitted Thiago Santos, who competed for the belt. Anthony Smith, round five ground and pound, competed for the belt. Then he has a decision win against Nikita Krylov, where they could talk about uh, over in Kabbalah, submitted Carl Robertson, lost to Corey Anderson by unanimous decision. Corey Anderson went on to win the Bellator belt. How much weight you put under that, that's up to you. Beat Misha Kirkinov by ground and pound. Lost to Alexander Gustafsson, one of the greatest fighters to never win a belt. Beat Janet Cannonier by unanimous decision when Cannonier was that way heavyweight. Lost to Anthony Johnson, sorry. Rest in peace to a legend. Again, one of the greatest fighters to never win a belt. Uh, in the UFC. Rashad Evans first round KO 2016. Rashad was passed by Patrick Cummings. Second round KO, TKO. Good win. OSP submitted. Lost to Phil Davis. Phil Davis was really good. Then lost to John Jones in a fight where he was dominated. Beat Ryan Bader, who became a simultaneous double champ in Bellator. Beat James Tehuna. Beat Quentin Rampage Jackson. Beat Fabio Milando. Kyle Kingsbury. Rico Rodriguez. From Just Cause. Yeah. Anyways, there's a shit joke. Beat Marvin Eastman. Beat Antonio Menendez. And all these other fights. Like, Glover Teixeira was no joke, right? And, like, to the people who don't think Pereira is training grappling, why else would you bring in Glover Teixeira? One of the most accomplished grapplers at 205 specifically. Well, like, I feel like Pereira is going to retire either this year or next year. If he beats Ankalaev, John Jones beats Arsenal at International Fight Week, I think we get the Jones Pereira fight in November at Madison Square Garden. Big card. They can, you know, put whatever co-main event they want to on it. But I feel like Alex Pereira going back to the Ankalaev fight, I feel like every time he steps into the stage, even though it's the same knockout every time, he shows a new part of his game. He'll show, you know, maybe a new way of uh, walking people down the cage, maybe a new combination, new kick. He always brings something to the table, and I feel like in the fight with Uncle Ive should shoot on him. He should take him down, and we'll get to see what him and Glover Teixeira have been working on for a few years now. And if that doesn't interest you, I don't know what will. One of the most accomplished kickboxers being trained by one of the most accomplished grapplers at that weight class. Right? I'm not gonna say that uh Goldberg's more accomplished than like a DC, John Jones, guys like that, right? But he's out there for sure. And like I said, if Magomed Ankalaev can beat Pereira, there twice, because I guarantee you they will give Pereira the immediate rematch. That would be a historic start to his title reign. Again, I would compare that to like Ilya Victoria beating Volkanovski and then beating Max Holloway. Maybe Max Holloway in the light heavyweight division would be like Yuri Prohaska or something like that. But I'm interested to see this. I'm a big fan of Pereira. I'm a big fan of people chasing greatness. Well, we'll see. Let me know in the comments. How do you see this fight going? Who do you think will win? And as far as this card is concerned, even though I didn't really go through the card again, I'll wait for the fight to get closer. What do you think about like the fights below the main and co-main? Other than that, that's all I got. Later.